No mai hoki mai anō, welcome back to Breakfast. It is 6:22. Today, Defence Minister Andrew Little departs for Singapore to attend the 20th annual Shangri-la Dialogue for Defence Ministers in the Indo-Pacific region. He'll meet with counterparts from Canada, Ukraine, UK and, importantly, China. Political scientist Professor Robert Patman joins us this morning. Morena, Professor Patman, as always, it is a pleasure to have you on our show. New Zealand has a long-standing participation in this forum. Why is it so important for us to be there?
Well, I think it's important because there's a number of pressing issues at the moment. It's always been an important forum. Indo-Pacific is a very important region in the world. It's the engine of the global economy. There's also a lot of tensions, of course. There's the intensification of US-China rivalry, but there's also the Ukraine conflict going, in which a number of parties are involved, which are located in the Indo-Pacific. And in addition, there's great concern within the South Pacific Islands, the Pacific Island states, I should say, that about climate change, which is their number one national security issue. So there's a lot to talk about.
We also know that Minister Little will meet one-on-one, as I said in the introduction, with his counterparts from various countries and, as I said, including China. What is likely to be discussed during that one-on-one meeting, but also how will the Minister navigate or have to navigate those conversations?
Well, obviously I can't preempt their discussions, and my crystal ball is no better than anyone else's, but I should imagine that Minister Little will be saying to his Chinese counterpart that they haven't been particularly happy about China's ambivalence with regard to the illegal Russian invasion of the Ukraine. New Zealand is a strong supporter of Ukraine in its attempt to repel invaders from their country. So I think China has got a peace initiative on the table, but it doesn't. It basically tries to freeze the territorial status quo, that is with Russian occupation of eastern Ukraine. That's unacceptable to New Zealand. I think the other thing that New Zealand will be trying to do, and it's interesting, Jenny May, that New Zealand is participating on a panel on nuclear dimensions of regional security. I think we will be trying to communicate that because we've had exploratory discussions with AUKUS, this enhanced security arrangement between Australia, the UK and US, that does not mean we're watering down our position on nuclear-free or non-nuclear security. And I think that Minister Little will be re-emphasising our commitment to that audience, because it's taken very seriously. One of the big concerns in the Indo-Pacific at the moment is whether AUKUS could trigger nuclear proliferation. It provides, of course, nuclear power submarines to Australia over 2 decades or more. And that's a big concern for many countries of ASEAN, which have signed a treaty declaring a nuclear-free weapons zone. And in addition to the South Pacific Island states, which also are committed by the Treaty of Rarotonga, which also New Zealand has signed, along with Australia. So I think it's a chance for New Zealand to restate its commitment to non-nuclear security in the region, and to dispel any concerns, perhaps, that some actors may have about New Zealand's possible involvement in AUKUS.
Yeah, and do you expect China to voice their concerns about that, even though, as you've talked about, New Zealand is looking to potentially join AUKUS, but for that non-nuclear part of the agreement? So surely you expect China to express their concerns around that.
I think New Zealand is exploring that possibility. I'll be very surprised if we do join Pillar 2, because I think New Zealand is rowing back from its early enthusiasm about the possibility as it gets the reaction from the region. We have a lot of diplomatic credibility by having an independent foreign policy, and I think this is an opportunity to reaffirm the importance of having an independent foreign policy, and I think New Zealand would be loath to lose that diplomatic asset. So I think we may have exploratory talks. I don't think they will necessarily have substantive outcomes with AUKUS. There's a lot to discuss in the region. I think New Zealand is seen as a partner of the United States, but one that is capable of taking an independent stance, and therefore has a lot of respect in the region. We've also boosted our defence budget by 400 million recently, so that may give Mr. Little's voice a little bit more weight at the discussions.
Professor Patman, we always appreciate you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Professor Robert Patman from Otago University, political scientist. Thank you.